This is the High School Football America podcast for February the 11th, 2020. I'm Jeff Fisher. Heading to Montvale, New Jersey, the Green Knights of St. Joseph Regional. They've spent a lot of time in the High School Football America national rankings since we began them in 2012. And a little while ago, Augie Hoffman, a good friend of ours, the head coach there at St. Joe's, left to bigger and better things, going on to Rutgers to be an assistant there. And we've got the guy on the line who's taking his place, Danny Marangi. Dan Marangi. Wow, what a defensive guy this guy is. He was the guy, the architect, if you will, behind those great Don Bosco prep defenses when they were winning national championships. And 3 years ago, I was telling him before I rolled the tape here that Coach Hoffman called me up and he said, Jeff, you got to tell this story. We got the greatest defensive guy in Jersey, maybe the country. And we did a little story, and now he's on the line to talk about his first head coaching job. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thanks, Jeff. How's everything?
Very, very good. And, you know, I guess that's where we're going to start with that little lead in there. I mean, when Coach Hoffman calls up and, you know, claims that you may be the best defensive guy in the country as his DC, what do you think about that?
I got big shoes to fill and a big job to do to make up for it. But, you know, it was an honor. And, you know, I really appreciate, you know, when Coach Hoffman, he was the first person to actually reach out to me when everything happened, and I was just excited to be a part of something, and I felt home here. You know, then I walked in. I told everybody the football part would be easy. The culture, you know, obviously would be the biggest adjustment, but it was seamless. The transition's been seamless. It's a great school, great community, tremendous program, and you know, we're looking forward to big things coming in the near future.
Yeah, and like I said before, you guys have got a good foundation to build on there. Let's go to, you know, the title HC, head coach. First time you've ever had it. You've been a DC. That's an important position. But how have you kind of, you know, gotten yourself acclimated? Because now you got to take your hands off the reins a little bit, right? You got to let some of those other guys do some things too. So tell me about that adjustment for yourself.
You know, it's a day-by-day process. You know, I think I've been lucky to have worked with two phenomenal head coaches. Obviously, Greg Toll, legendary coach. You know, I was a DC with him for a very long time, so I got to see how he managed things, kind of got to see a different perspective when I came to St. Joe's, and now Coach Hoffman managed things. So, you know, both guys extremely successful. So I could take little bits and pieces of each guy's, you know, way of doing things and put it in my own way. But, you know, at the end of the day, like you said, you know, the biggest adjustment is going to be going from handling, you know, 30 to 40 kids strictly on the defensive side of the ball to managing 80 kids, you know, throughout the varsity program, and then, you know, another 30, 40 within the freshman program. So, you know, you got to become more of a CEO than just, you know, focusing on one thing. And, you know, the biggest thing is I think we have a great staff. You know, we have a great staff intact. There's some other guys that are going to be coming aboard to help us out. And you really, guys, a head coach, you got to trust your staff. You got quality people, quality coaches, and that have all been part of a lot of wins. So, you know, when you have the ability to trust those guys to do things, makes your life a lot easier.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, you don't have to micromanage everything, especially in your first head coaching position. You know, you don't want to overcoach, but you can't undercoach, because at the end of the day, you're responsible for your program.
That's
keeping
for sure.
it in, you know, keeping it to where we want it to be. You know, it's one of the best in the country.
Yep, no doubt about that. Dan Marangi on the line. Last year, a little bit lower finish for St. Joe's, number 85 in our national rankings. We're going to talk a little bit about this year's team in just a little bit, but I think we'll continue on the lines of the head coach guy. You know, you're a defensive guy, right? So tell me a little bit about that, how you know, you're going to have your own DC, or are you going to be your own DC? I guess that's the first question. And then if you do have your own DC, how much are you going to stick your nose in there?
Well, I am not going to be the DC. I have two guys that, you know, one that's worked with me, John Church, who's worked with me for a long time, and Greg Tanzer, who's been a DC in this league. He was a DC for St. Joe's in the past and won state titles here. So with a wealth of experience. So they're two guys that I could trust that are going to keep us to where we want to be. But like anything else, I don't, I still see Nick Saban and Kirby Smart jumping into D-back drills and getting involved. And, I don't honestly, I'm probably going to be the same way, I'm going to be jumping in if I see things different ways, but, they're going to be handling, a lot of the day-to-day and the game day stuff. But, I don't think they'd be too shocked if I jumped in the middle of some things. Just personality, the way I am too, because I want to make sure we build the team in my image and stuff like that. It's kind of similar to what we've been. So, I'm going to probably have my hand a lot in most of the things, but you just can't do everything. But yeah, so defensively, I got two guys that I can trust, and I will have quite a say in the game plan and stuff like that, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you'll have some look-sees over there on that side of the line. Dan Marangi's on the line, St. Joseph Regional, the new head coach there, and again, some great guys to follow. You mentioned Coach Toll and Hoffman at St. Joe's. You can't mention St. Joe's without Coach Karsich, obviously. And in the news release, the press release that went out, one of the things they said was, you have an excellent vision for the future of our school, and a lot of people around the nation that listen to this know about New Jersey, northern New Jersey football. It's tough, it's all that. But explain for the listeners out there, what is the vision that you have for this school and football in northern New Jersey, and making sure that thumbprint also stays on the national level?
Well, the vision is, to have a program, all right, that continues to be successful, not at only the highest levels in New Jersey, but nationally. We want to be the best of the best. We also want to continue to create an environment where, we graduate well-rounded young men, through volunteer, through academics, through religious studies. We want a well-rounded young man when he graduates here. Our vision, is to every year to put our kids in the best situations, to challenge our kids to be the best, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's outside the classroom, in the community, on the football field. And whatever they do, we want to challenge them to be the best. When you challenge kids to be the best, the high character comes through. And all our boys, when they graduate here, when they go to college, like I said, 100% of our kids go to college. They all want, I want them to have high character qualities to stick through the thick and thin of a college lifestyle. We're going to prepare them the best we can. We're the conduit from, to get them to college. And we're going to continue that, and we want to be the best at that and continue to be the best at that. And that's our vision.
Yeah, and that vision, comes in one of the toughest leagues in the country. For people around the nation, I don't even have to, say the other names, the Bergen Catholics, the Don Bosco Preps, and all that. And that leads me into this question, which is, it's a gauntlet. It's a meat grinder. You see each other probably twice a year on a good year, obviously, and even on a bad year sometimes you see, if you get a low seed there in the playoffs. But I guess my question is this. I remember talking to Coach Hoffman at the beginning of last year before it started. You guys were ranked 6 highly, and Augie said, man, we've got a good team and all that. 7-4 finish in a tough league. Tell me a little bit about some of the things that maybe didn't happen last year for you that you're using in the off season to say, hey, we want 2020 to be a little different.
Well, I think anytime you lose in the in the playoffs, when you come up short of the goal, short of even making it the championship game, leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So our guys have been working their tails off in off season. We were a 2-point conversion away from tying a game in the semifinals or taking a lead, or but they're reminded that 2 yards short, all the time, 2 yards. So during their whole training, that's been on their minds. Last year we had an up and down year. Just inconsistency plagued us. There were times we looked brilliant. There was times we looked very average. For whatever reason, went through a little bit of a slump towards the end of the year, and then kind of got it corrected. But at the end of the day, we just couldn't get it done in the end. And so I think our mentality now is to finish that extra 2 yards, finish that extra 2 feet, whatever it's going to take to finish the job. Our kids are focused on making amends for last year, and getting to the finals and winning the finals.
Yeah, and you're a lifer. You understand Northern New Jersey football, and I ask this of all the coaches from that area that come on, and just because coaches around the country listen, and you kind of there's a little bit of a myth there and all that, but I'd love to hear in your own words, especially a guy that was at Bosco during the national championship years and that. How tough is it to prepare week in and week out for obviously not just you but the entire league itself, one of the toughest schedules team by team in the nation?
It's extremely difficult. I mean, there is no breather. There's no game where you could sit back and say, okay, we can work some younger guys. The coaching staffs could take a little bit of a breather and end a little earlier that evening or from the coaches' meetings and stuff like that. It's a meat grinder. The games are extremely, extremely physical. So health is a big part of it, and keeping the kids healthy throughout the season, because it's like I said, it's a physical game week in, week out, and there's some of the best coached teams around in the country. I mean, you just look at some of the guys that are coaching in this league or have coached in this league. I mean, there's a lot of football wins in this league, and the perception is reality. We go out and play the best. And then not only do we go out and play the best, we come home and play in one of the toughest leagues. So it's week to week, and it's a grind. Like I said, it's a grind, and the big thing is trying to keep the kids up every week, because you're going to trip and fall, and you got to get yourself back up. You can't let it tailspin. And the pressure, obviously, with you lose a game, all of a sudden you're you stink. You have you got there's no so it's just you win a game, you're awesome. You lose, you stink. There's no in between.
Yep. No.
That's why I tell people that winning in this league is awesome. Losing in this league is terrible. you don't want to get out. You don't want to get out of the bed next day. So there's no in between. There's no like, hey, all right, we played tight. We played a good game, but it just came up short. It doesn't work that way.
No, I know that for sure. And I remember when Augie brought the team out to California, I had a little hand in getting him out there, and you guys played Sarah. And then I got when Bergen came down here to play Grayson and all that, and everybody was asking me, so tell me, Jeff, you're a Pennsylvania guy. What's Northern New Jersey football like? I said, well, they punch you in the mouth, pick you up, slap you on the butt, punch you in the mouth again, and they'll just keep doing that till you fall over. and at the end of both of those games, they came up to me and they said, well, you got that right, Fisher. So anyway, Dan Marangi's on the line, the new head guy at St. Joseph Regional, Montvale, New Jersey. Let's turn the focus now to 2020, which is always a lot of talent on all the teams. Let's talk about what you got coming back, what you're looking at, what you're working on, what kind of boxes you're trying to check in the off season.
Well, right now we're just trying to get into continue our winter strength program. The kids have been working their tails off in the weight room. And we're just trying to build the camaraderie between the players and the coaches and stuff like that. So, we're doing a lot of in-house stuff currently, but, I'm really excited for the kids we have coming back. I'm excited about the talent. It's all going to start with our guys up front. I mean, when you think of St. Joe's football, obviously it's all about the offensive line. We have 4 out of 5 guys coming back, so I'm excited about that. We'll have another 2 or 3 guys competing for that final spot and be the 6th man. Athletically, you got Audric Estime, he's our workhorse, so we're going to go as far as he takes us. Especially on offense, he's our guy. Running back who's got, you name it, he's probably got it, offer-wise. And then we have a couple other, skill guys. We're going to have a great quarterback competition coming up between 3 guys. So it's, I'm really excited to see what we can do offensively. Mm-hmm. I think we got a lot of guys coming back. I think we're going to surprise some people. I think we could be explosive offensively. On the defensive side, obviously we're going to have to replace a bunch of people, but we have guys ready to step up, because knowing that we'd have to replace a lot of our younger guys were plugged in behind them to help get them some experience. So we'll have a lot of experienced guys coming back. One of our one of our D tackles, Jimmy Mullins, who was a freshman last year. I think he's rated as maybe the number 2 pound for pound freshman wrestler in the country, not just in the state. So he's wrestling a heavyweight right now. As a true freshman. So,
wow.
Expecting big things up front from him. Frankie Monty, going to be a 3-year starter for us at linebacker, along with Logan Rivera. So we got both inside linebackers coming back. So, we got some real special pieces there that I think we're going to be solid, and we're going to be really athletic on the defensive side of the ball, which is what I like. So, I think all in all, things are looking up. I really do. I expect big things. Great group of kids. Honestly, I couldn't have walked into a better situation as far as the type of kids we have and the type of team we have coming back.
Yeah, no doubt about that. A lot of talent there on that squad. And like I said, that history also pulls you through a little bit, too. Kids don't want to fail and lose that mantle. Dan Marangi is on the line. No. As we wrap things up here, let's talk a lot of schools, some of the bigger teams, the private schools, not everybody wants to play you. I know last year I think you guys signed a home and home, I think, with St. Francis. I hope that's still in place. But aside from the league, you still putting the schedule together? Who do you have on it? Who you looking at?
We are pretty much set. So we did sign the home and home with St. Francis. They're needed that week to actually, I don't know if they're traveling somewhere. I don't know if it's been announced, but they needed that week. So we filled it with Iona Prep and for the Battle of the Bridge. We will be playing in from New York. I think they were one of the top 5 teams in the state of New York. And we'll also be opening up with Good Counsel from Maryland. They'll be coming here.
Nice.
As regards to St. Francis, they will be our preseason game the week prior to playing Good Counsel. So August 20th, we're going to go meet in the middle and play a three quarters worth of a game for a preseason game. So we didn't completely drop them and that stuff. But then next year that'll be back on the schedule. And then we're stacked with league games the rest of the way. So those are our 2, I guess, out of conference games. The way the schedule lined up, because this is a new cycle for the schools, is some of the schools that we typically would drop come later in the year, and most teams are in league play. So it's a little tough to get going this year, but we're going to look to see what we can do again as we move forward.
Yeah. Well, and I know, I just saw that Corona Centennial is going to play St. Francis out there in California, so I'm sure that's the reason. It's and you guys know what that was like last year, right? You guys went out and played Jay Sarah and all that. That's not easy.
Yep. No, it's not easy to take, and I've done it in the past for my former stops. We did it when we went out. We beat De La Salle in 2008. I think it was 8 when we went out there. We took a team out to taking a team out to Mission Viejo, Bishop Gorman, out to Utah, and just from those experiences, it's tough to bring 16, 17, 18-year-old kids across the country and expect them to perform. I mean, there's definitely, and just in the same way for those teams come east, it's a lot to expect. When you're taking high school kids across the country, and to be honest, probably a lot of kids never even been on a plane before. You have that experience too, which is kind of neat as a high school coach. You get to see these guys. Coach, never been on a plane before. I'm a little nervous. Don't be nervous. Everything's going to be good.
Well, as we let you go here, I thought of one other question. We talked about how good the league is and nationally, not just there. But one of the things that's coming out, and of course, Augie's going to Rutgers. Nuns went to Rutgers. He had the interim job there for a little bit. Talk a little bit about the coaching quality there in the league. I don't think that's a question I've ever asked anybody, but I mean, come on, this ranks up there with some of the top college coaches, I would say, depending on the program, right?
No doubt about it. I mean, when like you said, I was a lifer. I'm only 41, but I started coaching in this league in 1999, and I mean at that time it was Greg Toll, it was Tony Carthage, and it was Fred Stengel. I think probably between the 3 of them, there's probably over 800 wins.
I was going to guess 1,000, but a lot.
Then add in Coach Hansen from St. Peter's, and you're over 1,000. So it's there's between 4 guys. That tells you right there. And guys who've made their bones in this league and have come up through the ranks, and you could see the jobs they've gone on to. Chris Partridge won came up and took Paramus Catholic, and now he's defensive coordinator at Ole Miss after being, coach at Michigan for years. So Nunzio Campanelli became the head coach at Bergen Catholic, and then ended up at Rutgers, and became the interim coach for years. Coach Hoffman, obviously, he's had opportunities to leave in the past, and this one he didn't think he could pass up. So, he's at Rutgers currently. So, the future is bright in a lot of schools and colleges and upper levels have come in here and try and pluck guys away. Because they know the quality of coaches in this league. And, this league wouldn't be where it is without the coaches.
Yeah.
In this league, I think you've heard Urban Meyer, the mafia of North Jersey coaches. That's kind of what it is.
Well, you hate each other, but you're prideful. You're very prideful about that area, right? You hate each other. But
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, look, most of us are pretty friendly, off the field, but come that game week, I don't expect any, cordial phone calls.
That's what I meant. I meant on the field, not off of it. I don't want to start any rumors out there. I don't need that. Well, Coach, all I have to say is, welcome to the family, I guess. Not that you haven't been a part of it, but now the HC family, and we're just so happy to have you on the show and talk to you. And we look forward to seeing what that thumbprint looks like from Dan Marangi on the St. Joe's program.
You got it. Thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate it.
And coaches, don't forget, do you have an opening on your staff? Hey, are you looking for your next job? Make sure you check out High School Football America's Coaches Job Board. Just go to highschoolfootballamerica.com. That'll do it for today. I'm Jeff Fisher, and you've been listening to the High School Football America podcast.